breaking news, breaking news. We might have some details on who's going to be the starting linebackers, things of that nature, who's showing out, who's going to be the comeback player of the year, potentially, or who's going to be a bounce back player, not a comeback player of the year, but a bounce back player of the year, things of that nature, so let's fly into it. Sorry for a little bit of a long intro, but first off, we're gonna talk about the interviews, things of that nature. First up was Jordan Davis, things of that nature. He sounded like he really had a winning mentality and whatnot. Obviously, he did shut off the weight, which is the reason why I'm saying that. Or however, obviously, everyone knows how to speak in interviews, things of that nature. But overall, yeah. He obviously proved it. He said he weighed like 350, something like that. And the reporter asked him, like, hey, didn't you weigh that last year? And he said, oh, well, this year, the 350 feels different. I'm moving around a lot better, things of that nature. Got some more news on him in a bit. But yeah, next thing is that he loves Fletcher Cox, but he knows that he's not coming back to save him or however. So he knows just, him and Jalen Carter, that he knows he's the defensive anchor. And he's not shying away from extra snaps. He says he's ready for the role, things of that nature. So as an Eagles fan, as an Eagle analysis, guys get excited, get buckled up. You know what I'm saying? Because his work ethic is proven. You know what I'm saying? In an off season, you know what I'm saying? He worked his butt off, and he's moving around a lot better and things of that nature. Obviously, like in the OTA interview or however, he's looking freaking great. No diddy. But yeah, next up, he likes the Fangio scheme. He said he's played in it before. And then he said that he's not shying away from anything like that or however. So, again, I think that all bodes well for the Eagles and things of that nature. So, again, that's really cool. Next up was Nolan Smith. He said that he feels that this year is the year he turns the corner, so to speak. So far, I believe in him. I have no reason not to. He said he's ready to play any position, anytime, or however the case may be, that he's willing to do anything because he loves the city of Philadelphia. He even roasts a woman's feet, calls them all scrunched up, things of that nature, while complimenting Lane Johnson's ability to take care of himself and things of that nature. And he completely denied having any shoulder problems last year. He said, oh, no, everyone shows the eternally things or however, but nah. Blah, 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 I'm perfectly fine. He said his shoulder is amazing, quote unquote. So we shall see. He said he's 100% healthy. So, yeah, again, he sounded really humble. He said, obviously, I want to get 10, 11 sacks every year, but obviously there's the guys that have been doing this 10, 11, 12, 13 years, Pro Bowlers, So there is a little bit of a learning curve. So I respected him being humble. And I respect him being humble, past and future tense, because of when I originally watched it or however. But yeah, overall, something to be excited about or however. He seems to be taking it very seriously. I think that's really cool. He seems like he's very coachable. Like I said, he praised Lane Johnson and BG about how they take care of their bodies, things of that nature. And he said he wants to be tough. He said he wants to be coached hard and things of that nature. That he wants to have high expectations on him. Okay. Since you said that, all respect to you. I believe you. You know what I'm saying? No Diddy, but I got a lot of love and respect for you as an Eagles fan, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? You ain't did us wrong yet. So that being said, 10 sacks flat. If your shoulder's as good as you say, you know what I'm saying? He said he's gonna be at 243. He's gonna be a lot more built, things of that nature. So 10 sacks flat, we'll call that good. We'll call that like, okay, I bet we're good. You're not a bust, things of that nature. Obviously just took a little longer to develop. If he gets 10 sacks this year, just 10 flat. Playing a lot more snaps without Hassan Reddick, things of that nature. So, next up, like I said, he said that he'd be willing to switch positions if necessary, go to off-ball linebacker, on-ball linebacker, because he said he got hit motherfuckers either way. So, he said he'd do anything for Philly, and that he loves Jalix Hunt, that he thinks he's just like him, like an Energizer Bunny, things of that nature. And yeah, so. But yeah, overall, yeah, like I said, he wants to be toughly coached, things of that nature. He doesn't want to get off easy, like he wants like the old school, like grit and grind coaches. So he got some old Fangio, so that's absolutely good. Next up, Isaiah Rodgers. It really seems like he learned his lesson. He said that his mindset kept him from getting rusty because according to multiple reports, he looked really good in OTAs. I'll just go ahead and put that up now. Because obviously that was a question or however, so it's not like spoiling something else or however. We'll go on a little bit. We'll go like more over it later. He also said that he learned that the league doesn't really need nobody or however. You know what I'm saying? He learned a lot. I think, the whole experience as a whole humbled him. Things of that nature. He says he got faster, better with his hands. I would assume, since he doesn't work roofing and carpentry, I would assume he means picks, interceptions. That's what I would assume because he's not a wide receiver, obviously. So, I would assume, he's claiming that he got better with picks. If there's truth to that, we'll talk about that later. Got some good news for y'all, so, keep on, stay tuned. Things of that nature. Said he got faster as well. That he really wanted to be in Philly, that it was the place he wanted to be, and the fact that Philly showed him that, they were willing to basically pay him for a free year, however, since he couldn't play last year since he was suspended, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to work extra hard, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, next up, who's next? Oh, okay, yeah, my bad. Sorry, guys. It's just I'm still taking my notes on my paper, however, and there's just so much to talk about. I'm just so freaking excited and things of that nature. So next up, he loves the kickoff rules, things of that nature. He can do whatever the team needs, things of that nature. Obviously, he was joking about playing linebacker, or, wide receiver. He was joking around or however, but yeah, he said John Ross. He said he's faster, that he refound the love for the game, things of that nature. Me myself, I questioned it or however because I was like, if you retire multiple times and you're the ninth pick, obviously you didn't really live the game that much. That's what I said. And obviously he was out of league for a reason or however. So, but he seems to be 100% healthy. He seems happy to be in Philly. Hopefully he can be an elite decoy. That's gonna be my prediction. He'll be a pretty darn good decoy. He can run. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 2 targets a game. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the snaps played or however per game or however. Down to you know what I'm saying? After all, 2 targets a game, catches 1. You know what I'm saying? Just enough to have the defense's eyes on him and take just a little bit of pressure off AJ and Smitty and Goddard and you know what I'm saying, the rest of them. I wouldn't see a problem with that. With all those weapons over if they're healthy. If not, then obviously put in Anais Smith or Johnny Wilson or something like that, in the red zone or something like that. Next up, Paris Campbell. He had a lot to say. He said he likes Sirianni because of their experience in Indiana. Whatchamacallit, he said that was a big part of why he came or however was to be back with Nick Serafraud. I don't really like him or however, obviously. And then he said that he's really excited to be in Kellen Moore's and Nick's offense, things of that nature. And I hope he's just saying that Nick's involved ever just for the cameras. I'm not there. I cannot afford to you know what I'm saying, or however, like I live a little bit outside of Philly or however, But yeah, I don't know exactly or however, so I can't say like I've seen the playbook. I know exactly what the plays are and who's calling. I don't know. I'm not there. Speculation. I don't know, but 100% for sure, I have no idea. So I just hope or however, it's just for camera or however, because after last streaming they kind of know, Kellen Moore's taken over. He seems like really hard worker. He has a good mentality. He's 100% healthy, things of that nature. He loves Howie and Philly. He said that Philly was the most detailed, like with health and things of that nature, like in terms of after practices, like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sore are you? And, their diet and things of that nature. They were like really attentive to things like that. So I think that's really good for the Eagles as well, that they have a good health staff and good developmental pieces and things of that nature in terms of that as well. So he said that he wants to learn from AJ and Smitty and that he can't wait to compete with them or however, as the season progresses or however he's looking forward to it. So, yeah, that's really exciting to hear, things of that nature. So, next up, we're going to talk about OTAs. I'll put, the footage up as necessary, however. So, first off, Rodgers was the lead at OTAs. He got a couple picks himself, one off of Kenny Pickett, I would assume. And then the other one off of Jalen Hurts. One of them was a pick 6 from Jalen Hurts. And then Zach Bond, he beats out Nakobe Dean the second straight time in OTAs as starting. Nakobe Dean was out there, however, on the second team or however. He was, doing a little bit of stuff or however. But, he hasn't made any headlines or however. But the fact we're hearing about guys defensively, pretty good sign or however. So that's pretty exciting to hear about. And again, Howie's proving why it's important to have a good GM in the National Football League. So, things of that nature. He's definitely top 3. Reason being is because Jalen Waddle, he's up in the market. It's wide receivers are getting more and more expensive because he just signed a 3-year, $84 million $84.75 million guaranteed contract, and then Smitty, he signed a 3-year, $75 million. So that's about $10 million. Zach Bond's making 7.5. You know what I'm saying? And at some point or however, like depending on however, I'll put some of his highlights up as well, because a lot of people are disrespecting him. You know, he is worthy of starting. You know, like Fangio scheme. You know what I'm saying? Some other competent defenders. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, the offensive momentum or however can obviously help the defense, and vice versa. Defensive momentum can help the offense. Things of that nature. So even then, you know, there's still $20+ million in cap space in terms of us. We extend A.J. Brown. You know, absolutely cooked the draft, absolutely cooked the offseason, signed Saquon, signed the O-line, re-signed out most of them to like 2028. You know, so we're good, you know, for at least, you know, 3-4 years or however. I'm not going to say Super Bowl window. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to be a cocky fan. But at least 2 years. I understand in the NFL it's not the NBA or however, it's a heck of a lot shorter. 2 years. We have a good 2-year championship window. Because you never know when Fangio's going to retire. We never know, you know what I'm saying, BG, things of that nature. We never know. And among those at OTAs that were not there was C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Not Today, Slay, Trashberry, Smitty, Sweat, and Lane Johnson. And again, it's non-mandatory. However, next week is going to be the mandatory minicamp with media availability, things of that nature. But honestly, them not being there, however, I mean, let the younger guys get the extra reps or however. In terms of Slay not being there, I mean, him and Trashberry can go. I mean, they're both washed as far as I'm concerned, or at least a couple miles behind, a couple steps behind. But yeah, and then in terms of Smitty not being there, I mean, he's a wide receiver too. I mean, he's good. They have the leader, you know what I'm saying, wide receiver 1. But obviously, you know, the 3, the 4, you know what I'm saying, all that needs to be figured out. So they need to get as much sample size as possible, you know what I'm saying, before they have to make it the 53-man roster, make all the hard cuts, things of that nature. But yeah, so starting in the secondary in the 7-on-7 was at the left cornerback, it was Isaiah Rodgers. The right cornerback, it was Keely Ringo. At the nickel, it was Tyler Hall. And at the safety, it was Avonte Maddox. I don't really like him at safety. I think he's more of just a slot. That's my personal opinion. Zach Bond, he got a pick. You know, in the starting linebacker position, I think, you know, that's really freaking good. Things of that nature. And yeah, next up, according to like the starting reports, things of that nature, Steen, he'll be getting the first chance to start at right guard or swing tackle, things of that nature. That they'll be looking to him first, and then if he doesn't work out, then they'll, you know, go down the line or however the case may be. But either way, I have faith in him. Stoutland University, you know, I believe he'll put in the work, things of that nature. Haven't really heard much from him media wise. Just like that one interview like a couple days ago, or about a week ago at this point. But yeah, and then according to multiple reports, Jordan Davis is moving really well. He would have got a sack, but obviously, you know, that, I mean, it's OTAs. You can't really sack in OTAs. I mean, but I mean, it would have been obviously a sack or however. So that's really good to hear about. You know, the cheering from D-line. So the fact we're hearing about, you know, D-line guys or however, same thing with Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham, you know, he recorded a obvious sack or however, but obviously, you know, they stopped at the whistle or however, you know, good teammates or however, so nobody got hurt and all that good stuff. But again, hearing from the D-line guys or however, you know, since their jobs are kind of like reduced, at least during OTAs, it's just really good in my personal opinion. Because we could hear, oh, blah, blah, out of shape or however, but no, you know, like, oh, would have had an obvious sack or however had they actually been counted. And for all the people saying, oh, Jalen Hurts throwing picks, first of all, OTAs. I understand. Jalen Hurts, he threw 2 picks today or yesterday or however, depending on which day you guys are watching this on, depending on what time I get done editing, because, you know, I'm going to work really hard to make this my best video. Anyways, Jalen Hurts was 14 for 20, 70% completion, 2 interceptions, 1 sack, and he was and 9 out of those 14 were to A.J. Brown. So again, that's 14 for 20 and at 70%, which isn't bad. It's practice. It's a new scheme. Kellen Moore, first year there. You know what I'm saying? It's practice. You got to make the mistakes in practice. If this was an actual game, okay. How many yards did he throw? How many touchdowns? If he had 500 yards and like 4 touchdowns, throw 3 picks. If the score's like 40 something to like 50, do it. 500 yards a game, you know, it's possible. Like, we may have like those insanely high scoring teams this year in terms of offense. I don't know. I haven't seen us play. Saquon Barkley's pretty good addition. Bryce Huff defensively. C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting him back. The rookies that can get some pick sixes as well. You never know. Never know. Next up, obviously, in my opinion, it was like 80-90%. The fact it was a new offense, Kellen Moore's first year there, things of that nature. It was the OTAs. And then 10-20%, I think it was just good defense. I mean, we do have 2 top 3 corners or however. And then Isaiah Rodgers, I mean, he's obviously proven his worth or however. He's looking good in practice. Again, I'll put the report up there or however. Yeah, he's looking good in practice. He got like 2 picks or however. And then Zach Bond, I mean, I'll put like some of his highlights up or however the case. But yeah, I mean, Zach Bond, I mean, he's looking nice. Everyone said, oh, he's special teams. No, New Orleans didn't use him right. He's 27. He's not old yet. He's as old as Saquon. He's not old. I haven't seen nothing about his injury history or however, for example, if you look up, let's see, Julio Jones injury history. Oh, so-and-so ankle, so-and-so wrist, or so-and-so rib, or whatever the case may be. But, I mean, I haven't seen anything. I've looked it up or however, he's healthy, you know what I'm saying? He's better than Kobe Dean. He's better than Van Sumeren. He's not better than Devin White. He's not. But, I mean, Devin White needs some help, so who else would you put out there? I wouldn't trust Glass Man Dean. Can't get no picks, can't cover, can't tackle, too slow, too little. I don't know, like in terms of height or however, I don't know exactly how tall Devin White is, but he just seems bigger. He seems like more built to be linebacker. But yeah, in total, Kenny Pickett, he had 2 picks as well. So altogether, they had 4 picks. Isaiah Rodgers had a pick. Zach Bond had a pick. Mickey Gardner had a pick. And obviously Isaiah Rodgers, he had 2 picks. And then, yeah, so that makes up to 4 picks. Yeah, Isaiah Rodgers had 2. Zach Bond had 1. And Mickey Gardner had 1. So then, obviously, rust. I mean, it happens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, after a certain given point of not playing and things of that nature, I mean, it's only fair after a certain given point, you know what I'm saying, at least have a little bit of rust or however. But again, it's just OTAs. It is a new scheme. If it's the first game in, okay, I can see people overreacting or however. But at least this, you know what I'm saying, it's practice. You got to get it out the way now, you know what I'm saying? So then okay, people are going to expect this or however, because I believe Isaiah Rodgers, he has a good football mind. Zach Bond, he has a good football mind. So, I mean, I believe that they're gonna make Jalen better, put him in the fire, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. Forge the iron. But overall, I believe in the Eagles. I believe a 3-loss season is possible. With 17 games, only losing 3 times, 14-3, it's possible. Am I guaranteeing it? It's possible. My prediction is losing 4. The Ravens, and then, I mean, I'm being humble. The other 3, I'm being humble. Other than that, I mean, look at the offense we have. Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, a top 5, top 3 O-line. If coached properly, this can be a 35-point per game offense. And then the defense, or however, can get like 1 pick a game. 17 interceptions or however, and then like 2 or 3 pick sixes. Couple pick sixes or however, you know what I'm saying? Bring the average up or however, a couple 40-point games. It's possible. All that talent. Top 3 running back, 2 top 10 receivers, a top 10, top 15 tight end, and Dallas Goedert. Top 15, bare minimum. He's top 15. That's fair. Top 3 O-line. And then in terms of secondary, before seeing us play, I'm not going to go too far and say, oh, we're the greatest of all time or however, no, but without seeing us play or however, just, with our name, with the names or however, with the roster, you know what I'm saying? I would say we at least have a top 10 secondary. Isaiah Rodgers, Slay, for whatever he's worth now or however, I mean, he's too slow, can't really cover. I mean, I guess as a veteran role. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Keely Ringo, Tyler Hall. I mean, we got a deep secondary. The list goes on. Obviously, I don't think Bradbury will be here much longer, but yeah, like I said, Isaiah Rodgers, and then obviously who picked up in the draft, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, the Flying Frenchman, absolute freaking beast. So, I mean, top 10, that's fair. And in terms of linebackers, I don't know, that is a doubt. If we can at least be average out of linebacker, the D-line and the secondary being fire can make up for it. It can. because then they just be average, so to speak, or however the case may be. Sorry guys, I got a new puppy, and you know I don't want her to like bite the cords or however. So that's the little sorry about that. But yeah. Overall, like I said, I love my Eagles, things of that nature. I think that's more than possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think it's going to do it for today's video. Philly out. Peace.